Hi, welcome to day 2 of the DMAs. I'm thrilled to be here with Brent. Can you just introduce yourself, Brent?
Yes, my name is Brent Niemuth, president of Jschmid and Associates. We're a creative agency, direct marketing agency based in Kansas City.
Great. So what brings you to the DMA this year?
I'm speaking.
You're speaking?
Yeah.
Great. What's your topic?
The power of disruptive creative.
Oh.
Yeah, so in that session, we did it this morning, and we talk about what we call the 5 basic human truths. So things that make everyone, all of us, things that we have in common, things that make us all the same, driven by neuroscience. It's how our brains are wired. So once you understand how people react to certain messages, what motivates them, you can use that for marketing purposes to talk to them.
Very interesting. And so where do you get the insights into the
it's all over in the industry. Studies are published often, Harvard Business Review, Adweek, there's multiple resources. But if you just go out there and look, you can find it.
Very cool, very cool. So have you been to a lot of sessions throughout the event?
Yeah, I've been to a few. I wish I could hit more because they're so good. The few that I have been, my favorites tend to be in the print-related category. As an old print guy myself, I think that tactic has been overlooked a lot in marketing. Digital is the shiny thing, that people are attracted to, but print still plays an important role, and we know it works. It's effective still.
Interesting. So now talk to me a little bit about, as an agency, I'm sure you see a lot of different clients facing a lot of different challenges. Are there commonalities or big things that you see kind of industry-wide that people are facing today?
Yeah, totally. I think one thing that a lot of companies, brands have in common, they're all looking to cut budgets or to trim money in some way. Or if they're not cutting budgets necessarily, the money, the dollars that they're spending are splintered more than ever before. So they need help deciding where to put their dollars, what's most effective, where are they going to get an ROI. And so we help our clients do that. But I think people are spending less, not more, these days. So those fewer dollars have to go farther. I think another challenge for a lot of folks is increased competition. The bar is pretty low to get into a lot of different businesses, industries, and frankly, a lot of the newcomers, the startups, are doing a really good job of taking away market share. So the folks who have been around for a while, the brands that have been around, need to always take a fresh look at what could they be doing better, what should they be doing to keep up with the new guys.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. That's the second time I've heard that through talking to the different interviewers.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting there is so many people think that the legacy brands just have so much more weight and so much more value as corporations, but you see a lot, and you see with the people really innovating in the space is fresh new brands. So talk to me about, from an agency perspective, how you can leverage the same methodology.
For the new brands versus the iconic brands?
For your agency, how can you really, take that thinking and that approach?
Well, we work with all kinds of brands, so small, medium, large, and frankly, the challenges are different for the iconic brands that we work with, brands that have been around for 150 years. And the tactics that we use, the methods that we use for the emerging brands can be a bit different in how you go about it, how you deliver that message, but a lot of the same practices apply the same. The tried and true things that we know work, especially in direct marketing, it doesn't matter what size the company is.
Mm-hmm. So after being here for 2 days now, what are you most excited about for looking into 2019?
Oh gosh. I honestly, again, being a print guy, I'm a bit biased, but I think the integration of print with digital more. We've talked about it as an industry for a while, for years. I think the industry has turned its back a bit or forgotten about print and focused on digital, and in some ways rightly so. But I think as an industry, people are starting to recognize that you need both, and they have to work together. They can't be separate. So hopefully in 2019, you'll start to see brands do a better job of integrating the two. The message has to be the same. The tactic and the channel really doesn't matter. Consumers don't care. Mm-hmm. They're just reacting or interacting with your brand. So I think if we forget that these channels are different as far as tactics, the message needs to be the same.
Great. So talk to me a little bit, or give me a couple examples, if you can, of how you see digital and print integrating. And do you have any case studies or clients that are doing it really well, or examples you can share?
Yeah, well, one of the first ones comes to mind that's interesting and maybe a bit ironic. You're starting to see more and more of it is a brand or a company like Warby Parker glasses. I bought these from Warby Parker, and I loved them, and the experience was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And they started as an online brand, a pure play, but they've sort of gone backwards and decided to open up retail stores, and after that decided to start mailing catalogs. So a brand like that is relatively new still to the game, they're blowing a lot of competitors out of the water because they've figured out a way to tie all those channels together. Bonobos is another one. Menswear started as an online brand. They realized that these little pop-up shops, retail shops, are necessary to complete the experience, and now they're mailing a catalog. So, and there's a lot of other brands like that you can point to. So I think older brands that have been around for a while need to pay attention to these guys. There's a reason why online alone isn't necessarily the answer anymore.
Right. Great. So what is one of the biggest concerns your clients have looking into 2019? Or you as an agency, you can answer either way.
Again, back to a previous answer, but increased competition. It's getting harder and harder to stand out. And where do we spend our money, right? And as an agency helping brands determine that, we often try to look at our own case studies, own success stories from other brands that we work with, and share that information. So if it works for one or two or three other clients, and we start to see a pattern of things that work, that can be shared across other companies. And for brands, trying to face challenges in 2019, from an agency perspective, it seems like a lot of big companies are trying to get by with thinned down staff as well. They may have cut back staff years ago and have not staffed up. So people are getting spread thin. They don't have the internal resources like they used to. So that's an advantage for an agency like us. If they would consider outsourcing to folks, we can help.
Great. Okay. Any other pieces of advice for everyone, or anything else you want to say?
I just think this is a wonderful conference. In addition to all the opportunities to hear professionals speak on certain topics in the sessions, I've found it very valuable to just have a cup of coffee in between sessions and talk to people who are dealing with the same stuff you are. And so you can learn just as much just from a 5-minute discussion on your way to another session as you can in the sessions. So it's great. It's 2.5 days well spent.
Great to hear. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been great having you here.
Thanks so much.